the best camera bag for under $50. Now, if you have been in photography for some time or you're just getting into it, you've probably come to learn that anytime you throw the word camera behind any kind of gear, you're going to be looking to spend at least 3 to 4 times the normal price. And it is no different with camera bags. The newest and best camera bags cost $400 to $500. And I don't know about you, but at this point in my photography career, I would much rather put that money into lenses or cameras or trips. Now let me introduce you to the old workhorse that is the LowePro Flipside 400 AW Mark I. This is by no means a new, slick, modern bag. It's old school, it's practical, it's tough. It will get the job done for you if you are into wildlife photography, landscape, macro, or even if you're into things like weddings, family photography, or street photography. Doesn't matter. This bag is a workhorse and I can't recommend it enough if you only have a $50 budget. Now the Mark I is really important there because LowePro Flipside 400 AW is now on their Mark III. And their Mark I don't even know if you can buy this new anymore, but I bought it used 4 years ago for $50. And looking at Marketplace right now in my area, there's actually 2 of these bags listed as used. One for $50, one for $75. I wouldn't get it for any more than $50. And that's Canadian, so 35 USD roughly. And even if this bag was available new, I would still look to buy it used because there's probably a lot floating out there and you're gonna get a much better price. Now this bag came out over 10 years ago, and although it did come out over 10 years ago, it's actually, pretty good quality for the time. And I still think pretty good quality now, specifically in and around that budget. Now, I'm primarily a wildlife photographer, macro, landscape. I'm outdoors a lot. Now, because I'm outside all the time, my main quality that I look for in a bag is something that can take on a lot of weather. And the AW in Flipside AW actually stands for all weather. Now, this bag is by no means waterproof. If you drop it into a lake or, if it's left out in a heavy rainstorm for hours upon hours, there's a good chance that water is definitely going to seep through and get to your equipment. But honestly, with the rugged design, I found that water doesn't really get in here that much. Now, again, I wouldn't go out for hours upon hours in a rainstorm and I wouldn't drop this thing in a lake, but, it's got a pretty good water resistance to it. And it also has this little flap at the bottom here, which when you pull it out, reveals this little rain cover. And you can put this rain cover all the way up to the top and around. And it actually covers the entire bag. So, the way I see it is that, again, I'm not going out into a storm with this bag under the impression that it's going to keep everything dry all day. But, if it starts pouring rain, I'm comfortable enough to say, hey, I can get back to my car and nothing's going to get wet because, this is really good protection. While not making it waterproof necessarily. And this bag isn't just water resistant, I would say, with a little bit of waterproofing, but it can also take quite a bit of other elemental abuse. So, things like dirt and dust. I am constantly putting this bag down in the dirt and, I've never had any issues with dirt getting into the bag. And that's really important for me as a wildlife photographer, again, because, sometimes I'm switching lenses and I need to just throw the bag right on the ground and, you can see that there's definitely a little bit of dirt on here. I put it through the ringer, and again, 4 years later, I'm still pretty happy with this. Now, one of the biggest things you need to look for when buying a camera bag is, of course, is all your gear going to fit in the bag? And this is something really important for a lot of wildlife photographers because we have these big telephoto lenses. I have the 200 to 600. You might have a 100 to 400, or, a 70 to 350. And, I know that when I put my 200 to 600 with my camera body, it just fits in this bag. So, that's really important because I want to be able to take my bag out, and if I see something, I want to just grab my camera with the lens and use it right away. If you are on Sony, again, the 200 to 600 and a camera is going to fit in here. I'm on the A7 IV, and that would be with a grip or without a grip. You can kind of play around with the inside to make everything fit. If you're on Canon, I think a lot of lenses are going to fit too. Take a look at the 200 to 600 and measure out your lenses to, see if they would fit. So this is the layout that I use here. So, I can fit my camera body in 200 to 600 right here. I usually put my, 20 millimeter wide and my GoPro up here. I can fit a macro lens down here, my audio equipment. So, I can fit quite a bit of stuff in here. So of course, like many camera bags today, the zipper is actually on the back of the bag and it opens up this way. That's really important because obviously you're gonna have camera gear in here, and it's good to know that, it's strapped to the back of you. It's a lot harder for thieves and people to get into your bag and steal your precious camera equipment. But it's also great because I can just throw it right on the ground and then open it up and get all my gear right out of it. Now on the inside flap here, you do also have quite a bit of storage. So, you know, in here I like to throw things like my memory cards in. So if I'm doubling up, I can fit 6 memory cards in here, no problem. You've also got this little flap here that zips up. Typically I'm putting things like step-up rings in there, but also filters. So I usually have an ND filter that I also keep in here as well. And that keeps everything nice and secure. Now there's also a front compartment here. So this zips right from the front, and you've got, you know, a lot of other storage in here as well. So, you know, lots of different flaps that you can play around with. Again, I'm usually keeping, you know, things like extra batteries right in here. You know, maybe my dead cat might go in here, can fit right in. You know, things like lens cloth or, you know, cleaning stuff, you know, it can fit right in there. Also throw in things like charging banks, cords. You know, the front pocket is actually quite spacious, so, you know, you can really fit quite a bit of things in there while, you know, protecting it again with this front flap. And one of the bigger things I like to keep in here is actually my speed light. So when I'm doing macro photography, it's nice that I can just kind of fit this right in the bottom. And because there is padding on the front here, I still know that I can put my bag down and everything in there is going to be fine. Now coming back to the inside, because you know, you'll get a lot of different inserts to go in here, you know, you can kind of play around with it and you know, arrange it in a way that fits best for your equipment. One of the things that I like though is that there's actually a little bit of a gap here, just about an inch between the top of the inserts and your bag. So if you wanted to throw a laptop right over top of your equipment, you could definitely do that. Now, I don't really use a laptop that much in the field. I usually like to come back and edit my stuff, but I do have this macro diffuser, and what I typically do is just, you know, throw that right in, and it fits right over top, and it just sits right on that lip there. So, you know, this goes over top of my equipment, and then, you know, if I need to take something out, I just take it out and put it right back in. So that little lip is great if you have like an iPad or a laptop or just something flat you need to put in there. There is no dedicated laptop slot, and, you know, that is definitely something that I would love to have in this bag. But again, this is the Mark 1. This came out over 10 years ago, and, you know, maybe the Mark 3 does have it, but you're looking at $250, $300 for that bag. So, you know, for $50, I think you're getting a lot out of this. Now on the exterior of the bag, there is also quite a bit of different straps and such that you can, you know, put stuff on. So the first thing is like right on the top of the bag, you know, again, hard surface, and you got these little clips right here. So what I do is clip that up, and you can clip things like jackets into here. And what I like to do is clip my rain jacket on there sometimes, or, you know, any kind of sweater, whatever you need. It kind of can clip right on top there. Which is really nice. You also have these straps here, which you can clip your tripod to. So right here you actually have a little bag that comes out here, and then you know, you can throw your tripod in there and clip it here. But actually, typically I like to use that back strap as another securement for like a sweater or a jacket too, because I think my tripod actually fits better in the water bottle holder. So there is 2 water bottle holders on each side here. And they're great. They're nice and deep. So what I'll do is, again, I'll throw some B-roll in here, but I like to just toss the tripod in right here, and then you can clip it right here. And I don't find that that affects me walking in any way. And the other pocket, I'll just, you know, toss a water bottle in. So these are, you know, quite big pockets. They can hold an Nalgene bottle. You know, great pockets, and I don't ever feel like my water bottles are going to slip out, which can definitely happen with a couple bags. So, you know, it's great in that respect too. Now, the other thing I love about this bag are the straps. So there are 2 straps that come across. So actually, the one that comes across the top has actually broken for me, and it did come off. One little gripe with the bag is that, you know, it only had one little securement right here, and, you know, mine just fell off. But the bottom has another strap as well. It gives a lot of relief to your back when you're walking long distances. But one thing with LowePro bags is that you can also use this to access your bag while you're still standing. So you can kind of take your bag off, flip it around, and your bag will stay up on you, and you can access your gear through that. Now, to be honest, I use this sometimes. You know, if I was doing family photography and I had it on my back and I need to switch really quickly, you know, I'd use this feature. Or maybe if I'm standing over water, but honestly, if I'm standing over water, I'll probably move back anyways. But when I'm taking out my heavier gear, like my 200 to 600, my big telephoto lens, I don't really use this all the time. I think it's just easier to put your bag down and quickly grab it. Just a better way to secure your bag. But that said, it does come in handy sometimes. And if you're using smaller gear, go ahead and use this feature. If you're out traveling, definitely a good feature too, because you don't want to be always getting down to the ground and taking out your equipment. So it's nice that way. You could also, put the bag up like this while it's strapped around, and then you could also have easy access to this pocket as well. So I do really love this feature, and I do love that you can just hold it out like this and access your gear, but I just don't use it all the time. So thanks for watching. This was a quick review on the Flipside 400 AW by LowePro. A bag that is well over 10 years old now. But for people that are just starting on photography, or for people that want to spend money on gear instead of bags, I think this is a great option for you. You can buy it used. Again, it's under $50, not that big of an investment. So thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, click here.